Hello students, I am teacher Svetlana, and in our today's lecture we will learn about the animal classification, which is covered in the chapter Kingdom Animalia. In the previous lecture I have explained to you the criteria that were used for animal classification. Please go through that lecture. It will enable you to understand this lecture even better. Now, in this lecture today, we are going to talk about the 5 non-chordate phylums, the phylum Porifera, the phylum Nidaria, phylum Ctenophora, phylum Platyhelminths, and phylum Ascarihelminths. Non-chordate students, to understand about these organisms, you should first understand what are chordates. Now, chordates are characterized by a presence of a cartilaginous notochord, at least in their early embryonic life. So they show presence of a cord-like structure. So if they have this cord-like structure present, if any organism shows this cord-like structure present in its early embryonic age, which is called as the notochord, then they are called as chordates. And if this notochord is not present or it's absent, then they are called as non-chordates. So today we will first see the non-chordates, then we will move to our chordates. So let us begin. Students, let us have a look at the silent features of the non-chordates. The non-chordates include the following 10 phylums. If you have a look at this image, it will show you all the 10 phylums which are included in the non-chordate category. Now, in our today's lecture, we will deal with 5 phyla, and the remaining one we will deal with them in the next lecture. Okay, the first phylum that we are going to see today is Porifera. The phylum Porifera. So we have members of this phylum which are commonly known as sponges. They are mostly marine, asymmetrical, that is, their body do not have a shape, or their body cannot be divided into equal halves, and they have a cellular level of organizations. They have water transport or canal system. Water enters, this is the canal. If you have a look at this image here, you can see this is the canal shaped structure that they have. Now, water enters to the minute pores ostia into the central cavity called as the spongigoel, from where it goes out to the ossiculum. Get back to this image here. See, this is the canal that is there. Water enters through these pores which are called as ostium, and it leaves the body out from this opening which is called as ossiculum. This entire cylindrical body is called as the spongigoel. Now, this spongigoel is lined by special flagellated cells called as cyanocytes or collar cells. So these are the collar cells which are lining the spongigoel. Beating of flagella creates water current. Body of these animals is supported by calcareous or silicaceous spicules. Spicules are small fiber-like structures which are either made up of calcium or silica. They are proteinous in nature and they are called as spongin fibers. Nutrition, respiration and excretion is performed by pathway of the water transport system. So from where the transport of water takes place, those same regions are used for their nutrition, their respiration, and for the process of excretion. Skeleton made up of spicules or spongy fibers. Egg and sperms are produced by the same organisms. They are called as hermaphrodites. So we do not have a separate male and a female organism. So that we do not have any separate sexes here. Asexual reproduction occurs by the process of fragmentations, and sexual reproductions by gamete formation. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect. We have examples like Cycon and Spongiella. Students, just to remind you, internal fertilization is the process where the fusion of the male and female gametes takes place inside the body of the female, and if the fusion of the gamete occurs outside the body, then it is called as external fertilization. And Indirect development occurs when the immature organism appears much different in its form as compared to the adult organism. And direct development is when you have the immature organism resembling in the form, like looks like a miniature version of the adult form of the organism. The next phylum is phylum Cnidaria. They are also called as colynterates. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile, free-swimming, radially symmetrical animals. They exhibit tissue level of organizations. They are diploblastic collimates with single opening. To understand these terms, please review the first lecture on this topic. They show two types of body called as plots and medusa. Body cavity is meant for circulation as well as digestion. Tentacles bear these, look at the image here, you can see this floating objects here. These are called as tentacles. Now these tentacles bear nidoblasts or stinging cells which are meant for anchorage, offense and defense. So these cells are used to also protect themselves as well as to capture their prey. These have special stinging cells through which they can sting their prey. Plots are sessile, fixed and cylindrical without gonads. We have example Hydra, Admetia. Medusa type is free swimming, umbrella-like, having gonads like Aurelia jellyfish. So these are the Medusa type which are free living, and they have their gonads that are present. Now some cnidarians exhibit both forms. Example, Oblea. Now the polyps produce medusas asexually and medusas produce polyps sexually. So this is our second phylum. So the next phylum is Ctenophora. Now they are commonly called as comb jellies or sea walnuts. You can have a look at this image here. This is the Hydra, which is the most commonly studied Ctenophora. They are extensively marine, so they are found only in marine environment, diploblastic, radially symmetrical with tissue level of organization. Body bears 8 ciliated comb plates which help in locomotion. Bioluminescence. This is a phenomenon with which light is emitted from the body of the organisms. So bioluminescence is present in ctenophores. They are hermaphrodites, that is, have both the male and the female organs on the same organism. So you do not have separate sexes. Fertilization is external. So here the fusion of the male and female gamete is occurring outside the body. Then we have the development is indirect. Then you have nidoblasts are absent. Hence they are called as anidarians. So I just explained to you, nidoblasts are the special stinging cells which are present on the body. They do not have such cells. Instead, they have coloblast. This is called as sticky cells to capture their prey. Example, Tinoplana and Pleurobranchi. The next phylum is Platyhelminths, which are also commonly called as the flatworms. Dorsoventrally flattened body is seen. Now, dorsoventrally flattened means dorsal is the upper part and ventral is the lower abdominal part. So, it is flattened from both the sides. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, acoelomates with organ level of organizations. So they show now, they move ahead and they have organ levels of organization, body organization. Hooks and suckers are present in parasitic forms. So parasitic ones are the ones who affect and feed on the higher organisms or higher animals. Flame cells or protonephridia helps in osmoregulation and excretion. So they have these specialized cells which are called as flame cells or protonephridia, which help in osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is the process of maintaining the mineral and water balance in the body, and excretion is eliminating out the waste material. Fertilization is internal, development is indirect, and they are also hermaphrodites, that is, we do not have any separate sexes here. Few have high power of regeneration, so they can grow very fast. Some show polyembryony. Polyembryony is a phenomenon of having multiple embryos. We have examples: Taenia, Planaria, and Fasciola. The next phylum is Ascarihelminths, which are called as roundworms. They may be free-living, aquatic, terrestrial, or parasitic in plants or animals. Parasitic is living in the higher plants or animals, and they cause disease in these organisms. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic pseudocoelomates. Alimentary canal is complete with well-developed muscular pharynx. Excretion takes place by canals or gland cells. Excretory products are eliminated through the excretory pores. Nervous system has a nerve ring and nerves. So far from the phylums that we have seen, this is the first phylum that we have come across having some elements of the nervous system. Animals are unisexual, that is, the sexes are now separate. Animals like Ascaris show sexual dimorphism, that is, female are longer than the male. Sexual dimorphism is a phenomenon where there is morphological dissimilarity in the male and the female, which helps you to identify the male and the female animal. Now, in case of Ascaris, the males are slightly shorter as compared to the females. Males have a curved posterior end with a pair of penile septae for corpulations. Corpulation is the phenomenon for helping out the process of fertilization. Fertilization is internal, so the fusion of the male and female gametes takes place inside the female body. We have examples: Ascaris, which is called as roundworm; Wilcheria, which is also called as flarile worm; and we have Encyclostoma hookworms. So this is the last phylum for this session. Thank you, students, for participating in this lecture. See you soon again with the next topic. Till then, take care, be safe, and keep learning.